Welcome to Village Highlights. Welcome to another edition of Village Highlights, June 11th, 2014.
Time's flying
Time's
by.
flying by. The year's
Yeah.
about half over. My name is Pete Hieronymus, and my co-host is,
I'm Mickey Victor.
and I think we have a rather interesting program today. We've got several guests, opportunity to meet somebody new for a change, and
Right.
a couple people, because I've never met these guys that are on my left till this morning. I would like to introduce Brian Barr, initially, the gentleman in the purple shirt, and his partner over there, Matthew Reddick, and who are both from Health South in Fayetteville. And they are here to sort of talk about Health South and all of the things that they do there. And from our conversation prior to taping, there's quite a bit going on down there.
Yes, sir. We are doing a lot.
Yes, so tell the viewers especially, and you can tell me too.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, like you said, we're with Health South. We're based out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. We're a 60-bed inpatient rehabilitation hospital. So what that means is we see patients that have had hip replacements, hip fractures, stroke patients, Parkinson's patients, brain injury. Our goal is to get patients that have been debilitated by whatever has debilitated them back to a more independent lifestyle. So we are a short-term hospital. You know, we get patients in, we try to get them back to their prior level of function and get them back into the community, enjoying the things that they do every day.
Well, I've heard of Health South quite a bit, but I never realized that you had that many, that you had beds where people actually, quote unquote, lived for a period of time.
You know, we unfortunately a lot of people do think that we're just an outpatient. Health South is just outpatient rehab, and we know we did have that. We did have outpatient. We no longer have outpatient, and the reason for that is we're expanding our inpatient side, and we're adding 20 more beds to our hospital.
Holy Toledo!
And so, you know, to better serve the community in the area of Northwest Arkansas for people that need that service. So yes, patients do come and stay. Our average length of stay is about 12 to 13 days. So like I said, we are a short-term hospital. We don't keep people for a long time, and our goal is to get them back home.
And as soon as you can move them out.
There's a lot of people working with a lot of patients. We have a big therapy department, nursing department. So we function a lot like a hospital. We can't obviously take care of the acute things that happen to people that go to a hospital, but you know, we have a medical director and another admitting physician. They're physical medicine and rehabilitation doctors, so they round on patients every day and kind of keep up with the progress of everything. And so I feel like we got a good program and a good hospital, and we enjoy what we do.
More like a staff of physical therapists and that sort of thing, as opposed to doctors and registered nurses.
Right. Well, we have
minimal number of those.
Right. Well, we have physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, respiratory therapy. So there's a lot of people involved, and it's a pretty big staff. We've been growing, obviously, with the expansion coming. So we're also growing our employee basis as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's good. That keeps things going around here.
Yes, sir.
Now, what's this guy over here do?
I'm a clinical liaison, so what I do is I'm kind of the person in between the patient in the hospital and the patient coming to our hospital. So part of that is evaluating patients to make sure that they meet criteria to be able to come into our hospital, take care of insurance, and just coordinate that transition. An interesting thing that a lot of people don't realize is that although the majority of our patients do come from the acute hospital, we do take patients that are actually at home. Health South is the only rehabilitation acute hospital that is Joint Commission certified in stroke. So it's a special certification that we have obtained in treating strokes. And we're also working on Parkinson's, which is a big growing need in our community. So a lot of patients that come from home typically have had a stroke in the past. They've maybe got an illness, or they've noticed that there's been a decline in their function. A Parkinson patient that maybe had their medicines changed in an outpatient setting, and now they're finding that their balance is off, they're falling a lot more. And those patients are ideal patients to come in to stay with us for a week to 2 weeks to be able to get that intensive therapy, to regain some of that mobility that they've lost and be able to return back home. You know, that's our big focus, is being able to return back home, being able to do the hobbies, the things that you like to do prior to debilitating event, such as
Now,
a stroke.
once they are released and go home, do you continue to follow up with them, or do they have to go somewhere to get other additional assistance?
Typically, they'll go back to their primary care physician, who will follow them. Part of being a clinical liaison is that even after the care, I'm continually following up with the primary care doctors and keeping in communication with them. We also have patients or patients' families who will call us up after they've been discharged and will say, hey, I think mom's just not doing that well. You know, can you take a look at them? And we can do a referral from home.
Okay. So that
Directly, and
there is
then
that process that you can
absolutely.
do.
So a family can make a call to us and initiate a referral, and then part of my role is to get with the primary care doctor to kind of help that process along.
Okay, sounds like, and it's a very important process that goes.
It is a very important process, and it's
And not just for the patient, but for the family too.
for the patient, for the family. You know, when you lose decline in function, and you're facing not being able to stay in your home for an extended period of time, you know, it's a desperate situation, and it's good to know that there's people out there such as us that are able to maybe bridge that gap and keep people in their homes.
Yeah, we hear it a
Yeah.
lot with
Yeah.
family members. You know, strokes don't just affect the person that
Right.
it
That's
happened
right.
to. It happens to the whole family. And we hear that so often. We get a phone call, hey, mom, dad, they had a stroke a couple of months ago, and we just don't know what to do. And that's what we're here for. And we want to take control of that and figure out what we can do and how we can help them, not just a patient, but we have support groups for the patients and the families and caregivers. So it involves everybody, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But
The
you-
therapy that you work on helps strengthen these people. Is that the idea?
Right, and you know, whatever happens, you know, every patient that comes in is going to be set up on a different program. You know, not everybody's going to do the exact same thing.
Right.
So a patient that has suffered from a stroke is going to be set up differently from a person that has fallen and suffered from a hip fracture.
Yeah.
So that is our goal. You know, a lot of times people will have let's say just a hip fracture or a hip surgery, and they go home and they don't push themselves. Pain kind of sets in, and the therapists that we have, they know, you know, they've dealt with a lot of patients, and they know how far they can push and what's best for the patient. We hear it day in, day out of patients saying, I'm glad I came.
Yeah.
They really got me back to where I needed to be.
And our nursing staff is certified in rehabilitation medicine. So with the doctor oversight, with the registered nurses that are certified in rehab, are able to manage the pain medications. We have our own pharmacy, and with the doctor being there in the building overseeing the care of the patient, we're more apt to be able to give that pain medication at the appropriate time to be able to enhance the therapy,
Right.
as opposed to the pain being a barrier to the outcomes of the therapy.
Okay, that's learned a lot.
Yeah, that
We
sounds
would also,
like a
we'd
really
also like
good
to add in, you know, a lot of people don't realize what we do and the processes of all of it. We're open for families and potentially future patients that have a surgery coming up or whatever it may be to come in and take a tour, look at
Oh,
what we
that's
do.
a good idea.
Come in and look at our therapy gym. I hear it a lot. A lot of people see our therapy gym and they're like, wow, there's a lot going on in here.
Do I have
So-
to have anything going wrong? Can I come in and use
Absolutely
it?
not. You're more than welcome. Come on.
We have state-of-the-art equipment that's unique to Health South, proprietary equipment that is added into that therapy. So you know, something that that for Northwest Arkansas, you know, we're very lucky to have.
Yes.
The level of rehabilitation care that we have, and I mean, it speaks a lot for our community.
Right.
You know, so.
We'd love for you to visit. Just hopefully we won't see you up there as a patient.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, it's been a pleasure having
Thanks a
you
lot.
guys here.
Appreciate it.
Learned a lot.
Thank you.
And good Lord, there's so much more. We're gonna have to have you back, I think.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
We're good with that.
We'll be seeing you. And actually, you're around here on a regular basis.
That's correct. Every second Wednesday of the month, here at the Highlands Crossing, I do balance testing and screening. Also do stroke awareness information. It's a good opportunity if you feel like your balance has been off, you know, to come in and have me kind of take a look and see, you know, if you need to go back to your doctor and kind of
Now, that's just
see what's
physical
going on.
balance. That has nothing to do with mental balance.
Not mental balance, no. Different kind of medicine.
Okay, good enough. Thanks
right.
again
Thank
for
you, guys.
coming.
Thank
We'll
you.
be seeing you. Wee, they're full of information.
Yes, they are.
You got one of our old friends from the library over there, I see.
I do have.
Careful with the old.
Yeah,
Loretta Gallagher
Longtime
is
friend.
here. Nice to have you here,
Well, it's
Loretta.
good to be back. It's
You
good
have
to
a
be back.
book that you're going to tell us about.
Yes, you know, those fellas, I got a lot of questions for them. Maybe we should just continue there. But my love, of course, is the library and
Sure.
reading. And I don't think I'll ever get to where I can use a Kindle or any kind of a thing other than reading a book. I mean, that's primary as far as I'm concerned. And hopefully libraries can pass that love on to the younger generation. When I see them sitting, texting and playing games, and maybe 4, 5, 6 people in a room, and there's no conversation, it really gets to me. But anyway, that's not telling you about the book. When you look at this book, it's called The Lavender Garden, and it looks like it's going to be a lovely little romance. There's an elegant little girl standing out in front of a great big building, which turns out to be a chateau in France, in southern France. And it's a very apropos book for the time because we're remembering D-Day, the 70th anniversary, and there's been a lot of talk about D-Day. And I hate to say this, but I was around, you know, when all this was going on. But at any rate, what we knew back then was not anything about what really was going on because communications were just not
That's
as
true.
they are now. You know,
That's
now
true.
something happens and they're right there and you see it on your TV screen. But at any rate, this young girl, it starts out in 1998. She is lives in the chateau.
Oh.
She's a child, the only child of the couple there. And her father is, well, he was like 60 when she was born. But at any rate, and her mother is a social butterfly. She mostly is in Paris, entertaining guests and having a fling. And she really, the little girl is incidental in the life of the woman. She's just, well, she just is.
Yeah.
So that's the current time frame. And then she is living in this chateau, but it reverts back to the time of the Second World War, the chateau itself and what was going on there. And this young lady's father at the time was a young, relatively young man. And he was a friend of the Gestapo, and he entertained the Gestapo in a rather lavish manner. However, he was a very high-ranking member of the resistance. And this now goes into the story of the average citizen fighting the German occupation. And it puts a whole different slant on the military side because, you know, the people in France were waiting for the day when they would be liberated.
Right.
And it tells a tale because I might know you as a very good neighbor and friend, but I don't know whose side you're on. Are you on the side of the Germans, or are you waiting for the day when we can be liberated? So it's really an intense story, and the cover on the book belies the fact that it is a very intense story. And of course, things work out. There's a romance in there, but it's not, it's incidental really to the whole theme of the story. So it's a good read. And a lot of women don't want to get involved with all of the war things, you know. In fact, I had a gal say to me Monday night, we were together, and she said, if I see D-Day one more time on the telly, I'm going to go crazy. So it's a whole different slant.
Yeah.
And we get the picture of what a civilian goes through during the war, and how that you can't trust your neighbor. You thought you could.
There was a lot of that, too.
Terrible, terrible. And those who fought, like the gentleman who is the husband and owns the chateau, he takes a lot of guff from the people who think that he has fallen in with the military leaders.
Oh, I see.
And because he entertains them in his home. And
What does the title have to do with the story?
there is a walled-in garden in the chateau. And people who are being hidden from the Gestapo or being transferred from one spot to another can go into this walled garden without being detected. Like at nighttime, you know, they can relax outside, where normally they would have to stay inside.
Oh,
So they wouldn't be seen by anyone. But the walled-in garden is the lavender garden, and they grow lavender. So the scent of lavender permeates the outside air and also gets carried into the inside.
I love that, too.
Yes. So it's really a different kind of a book. And
Sounds like it.
yeah, she's an excellent writer. She lives part of her time in England and part in France. Married, has family. And this is her third book. I haven't read the other two, but I just possibly might check those out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. That sounds like a really good book.
it is.
Well, I appreciate your bringing that and telling us about it. We have somebody else from the library here that we're going to let her tell us something about the library, too. She's our new librarian. Yeah, so she's the head of it, I guess, or whatever.
You know, she may have just bitten off a great big chunk, you know. Most of us are volunteers.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with volunteers, you know, you come in one day and you see this crew, and then at 1 o'clock there's the changing of the guard and
Yeah.
another crew comes, and then the next day it's a whole different ball game. So that the person who is introduced to all of us thinks, oh my gosh, I'm not going to see these same people. How do I work with this next group that comes along?
Well, from what
know.
I've met of her, I think she's very capable of
I think she is
taking
too.
care of that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
So-
And she's a baby, you know, but we'll take care of her. We
Yeah, okay,
oldies.
that's good. Well, thanks for coming, and
Yeah, it was
it's always
great.
a pleasure to have you here, Loretta, and
Okay.
we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay, good, very good. Pete, you have somebody else here now.
Yeah, I've got a neighbor right down the hall, the computer club. And
Mm-hmm.
we've got Richard Clark, who is the president of the board there. So
Good morning.
I don't think we have ever had anybody from the computer club come in here to tell people out there what you're all about. So I'm going to let you do that now.
Well, we have monthly informational meetings that talk about how-tos and why-tos. This last meeting was about should I upgrade? And we covered things such as Windows XP, Windows 7, what you can upgrade to and why you should upgrade to. We have free classes. Most of our classes are on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And they cover just about every topic you can think of when it comes to computing. We also have workshops, which are more specific, but our big draw for a lot of our members are our help clinics. The first Saturday, the first Wednesday, and the third Wednesday of every month, we have an open house. You can bring your computer in, we'll work on it. If you have a question about how certain software works, we normally have people there that can answer that and show you how to do it. We install a lot of software during those periods for protection, for security, and that's about really it. We have a monthly newsletter that is full of valuable information for primarily the novice to intermediate users, but a lot of times we do cover advanced information. We also have a very popular genealogy group that meets the third Saturday of every month. It continues to grow. They're very active. And we invite everybody to come out for either our classes, which are free for members. Membership is $20 a year. If
I was
an-
wondering about that. You know, all this stuff going on, there's got to be a hitch somewhere.
Well, it's $20 a year for the first member of the household. And then each additional member of that household is $10. And it runs 1 year from the day you sign up. We're running about 270 members right now. Our monthly meetings, we run anywhere from 30 to 70 people. We had as many as 100, 120. We have had a raffle for a laptop, and that meeting was very well attended.
Yeah.
So our informational meeting, our primary club meeting, is the second Monday of every month at 7 o'clock in the Highland Center, right down the hall in the community room.
And you have room for 70 people in there?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that big.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite working. I don't know what the capacity, the maximum is, but
I don't think we've ever come close to it, but I'd like to try.
okay. Now, is there any way? What's the best way to get in touch, or is it just to come down here to the?
Well, we do have a website. It's bvcompclub.org, and all of our schedules are there. You can see the officers, you can make contact. We have people that are willing to go into the homes and help our members with their computers. And the key part is we help our members, not the general public. So if you're a member, there's names there where people will come and help you. Plus we have the help clinic. But and you can give us a call. And I'm pretty sure that the number was just on the screen. And here's our flyer. And you'll see this about town in different places.
You even have a cell phone. number there.
Yeah. All kinds of numbers on the board there. So
Yeah.
I think those might be your numbers. I don't know.
No, they're the club's
They're the
numbers.
club's numbers. Okay. Okay. Well, it's interesting, Richard. You know, and I've walked by that place many times, and I've been in there, and I know a few people that are members of the club. Personally, I've never joined, but it sounds like it's something I ought to do.
Well, and it's not for computer geeks. We have geeks there, trust me. But we're there to help the novice and the intermediate users.
Yeah. What?
Chuck Billman is our instructor, runs our lab. His classes are the same as when he taught with NWAC. So they're not, they're in-depth. You take home a handout with step-by-step instructions of everything that you've done in the class. So when you bring your computer in, and you should, bring a laptop in, go through the class, when you go home, you have the exact information that was presented in detail.
Now, I don't have a laptop, so what would I bring in if I wanted just the tower or the?
You could just bring the tower.
Okay.
And what I recommend is get out your cell phone or your camera, take a picture of the back, so you know where all the wires go when you bring it home. That's the easiest way to do it. You know, if you take a picture, you have it, and you can look at it and go, okay, I understand that.
You take a picture on the camera and then you put it in the computer.
Yeah.
So
There
then
you
you take
go.
all the wires out. And
But
oops,
yes,
daisy.
the people that bring
doesn't
their
work.
equipment in during our open house help clinics, they just bring the tower and we set everything up and get the computer going and work on it. And we have people that bring them in for the classes.
Yeah. Okay.
Very helpful.
And they just use their tower on the monitor that is
Right.
in the.
Or you can
classroom.
use, we have 16 computers
Yeah.
that are all up to date, ready to go with the latest and greatest software. And if you don't want to bring yours in, you don't have to.
I see. Pretty easy.
Yes, it is. It's pretty painless, and it's taught on the level of the students, not
That's
the
good.
level of the geeks.
That's good.
And we do our best
You
not.
speak English, in other words.
Yes, we work really hard at speaking English and not computer.
Yeah.
So we do have to interject some
Oh,
computer,
yeah.
but it's at their level. You know, as our technology capabilities increase and our families spread out across the world, we're using these devices more and more to maintain contact.
Yeah.
It's not just the telephone anymore.
Right.
You can, do video chats.
Yeah. She's got Skype and keeps in touch with her son in Italy
Oh,
that way. So
Quite
What-
often.
where in Italy?
He lives up above,
Bologna.
Bologna.
Oh, okay.
He lives up in the hills. So he loves it there.
So do I. Lived there for 3 years.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, otherwise I wouldn't get to talk to him very much or anything.
Right.
So
So-
it's nice to have Skype and we can visit
And
with each other.
that's something that we can help with. People that need that but don't know how to do it can come in and we can show them.
Oh, that's good.
We can set it up.
I think Ryan helped you get it going, didn't he?
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
Ryan Smith.
Ryan is our webmaster
Is he?
and does an outstanding job. He keeps
Yeah.
that up to date. When we're done with stuff, it's fed to him and it goes right up on the website. So even our monthly meetings, that information is available for the people to review. People that were there that had questions can review it, or someone that didn't have the opportunity to go to the meeting can bring up the website and see it
Yeah.
and read it.
Very, very, very helpful.
Yes,
And
it is.
For only
It is.
$20 a year.
For $20 a year.
Boy, that's
Do you have food and beverages at all of these meetings?
No,
that's an important issue.
We would
in it.
probably have to raise the price if we did that.
Okay, Richard, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise.
And we'll come down to Hull sometime and bug you a little bit.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Now, you have a
a special lady.
special lady.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Roxy Wright is the new library head,
Librarian.
yeah,
Marion.
librarian. Yeah, Marianne the librarian. So we're so glad that you're here now and you're getting accustomed to the library at the Bella Vista Library, and so they're so glad to have you here.
Oh, well, I'm happy to be here. I've been here a week and a half, so it's still new. And
Yeah.
I'm still learning. As Ms. Loretta said, there's a different person every day with volunteers, so I have a lot of names to learn, and but I'm learning.
Slide over a little bit.
Oh.
You're out in the,
Yeah,
out there in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
There,
okay.
there.
That better?
And I'll go this way.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
we can see each other
There
better.
you go.
Well, what are some of the duties that you have now in this?
Well, actually, I'm still kind of finding my way, kind of figuring out because, as you know, probably the library became under the umbrella of the city, I believe, the first of the year, and so we're all kind of trying to find who does what. So I kind of came on at a good time, I think, because everybody's trying to define. We're trying to define what roles, who has what role. So
Right.
I think I came on at a good
Are
time.
you considered an employee of the city now?
Of the city, I am.
Okay.
Yes, actually, I interviewed with the mayor, and the city is the one that actually hired me. Yes.
Well, good. And this is, like you say, a good time for you to come on because the changing of the season and the kids are starting their
Right.
library reading.
Summer reading program.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And has that started already? Or?
It actually started Saturday.
Oh, okay.
We have summer reading. It's every Saturday, and it was actually that was already planned. I believe the last librarian already had that all in place before I came, so that was good for me.
Yeah.
So I basically just have to be there because all the plans are already made. But it is every Saturday, 10:30, I believe. I believe that's right. At 10:30 every Saturday through the summer.
Okay. And does the dog still come and the
He
kids
actually
read
has
to
not
him?
been Dwayne.
Dwayne,
is that
yeah.
right? He actually hasn't been there since I've come on board, but he will be coming. So I'm anxious to meet him.
That's an interesting program.
Yes.
It's good for the children,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because he'll be very attentive to
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
for
I'm
them
very
to read
anxious
to-
to get to meet him, and
Yeah.
and I believe it's Miss Faye. I believe that brings him,
Oh, okay.
and I hope I'm right about that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good program.
Mm-hmm.
And then the computer things in the library, they started that really this year, I think, or this last year.
The public computers.
Uh-huh.
I think we have 6 public computers for anyone that wants to come in and use the computer
Yeah.
that needs to send an email or check a website that doesn't have a computer at home.
And you can look on the computer to see where a book is
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
you
Yes,
want. Is
yes. Our
that
card
too?
catalog is on the computer. Yes, and we have a website, bvpl.org.
Okay.
Is the website, so you can go on the website and see what activities are going on. You can also check our card catalog on that website. So,
All kinds of good things.
yes, ma'am. Lots of good information.
Yeah. Well, let's see. There are so many things going on at the library. You had a thing in February. What was that thing? That's what it was called now.
The Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. Yeah.
Yes, and I wasn't here for that.
No,
I
no.
missed it.
But you'll be here next year.
I
for
will
it.
be here next year. Yeah, there's lots of. I'm absolutely amazed at the activities that go on at the library. We have so many volunteers, and basically the volunteers are what keep the library up and running. They do a lot of work, and volunteers that have clubs, have book clubs. We have brain teasers. We have story times for children, and most of those things are run by volunteers. But we have different. Sometimes we'll have 2 or 3 different activities during the day, things going on.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Bella Vista's library is very unique in that we have so many activities, and most of them are run by volunteers. So it's quite a unique little
And
library.
it's,
Right.
it's amazing how much can be done in the cramped quarters that you've got.
And that's true. If you'll come to the library, you will notice that we are bursting at the seams. We are, which is a good thing. We have lots of people and lots of books. lots of activities going on, and so we are in the process of raising money to expand the library. And as I said, I just came on board, so I'm still new to that, but I do know that we are have a big expansion in the future, and we're very excited about that, and it's going to be a good thing for Bella Vista.
Oh, yes,
Just
okay.
of a personal nature, what was your background? What I assume you have been involved with library work before.
Well, actually, my bachelor's degree is in business management, and so I've done some things in management, and actually only came on board in the library field 6 years ago. I was hired as branch manager of library in a small town in South Arkansas, in Warren, Arkansas, and immediately fell in love with the library field. So after a couple of years, I decided to go on and get my master's in, it's called Library and Information Studies. Yeah, so it's not called library science anymore. Anyway, but so I went ahead and am working on my master's, and I'll actually finish in August.
Oh,
So you actually have to, in the library field, you actually have to have a master's to be considered a librarian.
I see.
Yeah, it's kind of a, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I know, it's kind of a snobby. No, I did not say that. But anyway, but you actually have to have a master's to be considered a
At least a little
librarian.
highfalutin.
So I'm almost there. I'll finish in about 6 more weeks. I'll be finished and have my master's.
Oh, this is a really busy time for you. then.
I'm very busy right now, trying to learn a new job, and I'm actually taking 9 hours to finish up. So I have classes 3 nights a week. So
Yeah, gosh.
I may not be seen much until the end of the summer,
Right.
but so that's where I am.
Well, we wanted to bring you on board so that we could introduce you to the community, to our viewers. Also say on behalf of Bella Vista Television, welcome. We are so glad to have you here. We, over the years, have had a very good relationship with the library, as you can tell, with Loretta and Mike Stenson comes here occasionally, and so does Susan Santos. And
Yeah.
we love anything we can do to support the library.
Well, I appreciate that. And we'll be in touch.
You bet.
Okay, you
All
bet.
right. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Hey, I was the recipient of an email the other day that came from a gentleman in the control room who received an article from the USA Today. I don't know, there was no date on it, unfortunately. It's under a column called Exclusive Excerpt. And it starts out, population 26,327. The town has all the amenities, says local Caldwell banker real estate agent Doyle Yates. We have mountains, lakes, low crime, a minor league baseball team, and major college sports. The University of Arkansas is in Fayetteville, 30 miles away. It's absolutely heaven, says retiree Barb Francis. I won't say her age, although it's in here. It's the best kept secret anywhere. Francis and her husband Dick lived in California for 30 years, where he was an Air Force fighter pilot, and she had an interior design business. Tired of the tension and traffic, they started looking for another place to live. Her brother, Bob Clift, lived in Bella Vista with his family. So she visited, they fell in love with the area, first renting, then buying, and now they have a home on the lake. It's all it says, is one of the lakes. Yates says among the notable attractions are a 36,000-acre recreation retirement area, 126 holes of golf, 7 private lakes. You can play a round of golf for $25, including your cart, says Barb Francis. Do you know where we're talking about? Sure, here's the final paragraph. There are currently under 500 homes on the market in Bella Vista, Yates says. Average price is $192,000, average size 2,200 square feet. And that's the kind of advertising and commercial coverage Bella Vista, Arkansas gets. USA Today, that's getting up in the world.
That's good.
And that brings us to a close.
Yes.
We have been through all kinds of information today. I do want to make note, we have, over the last several weeks, we have been acknowledging our supporters. And there be no Bella Vista Community Television if it was not for the financial support that we receive from places like the Rogers Historical Museum, our friends upstairs, the Schmeeding Center, the Singing Men of Arkansas, the Plaza at the Highlands Crossing. It's a rather nice place to live.
Yes, it is.
And the Veterans Council of Northwest Arkansas. Those are just several of the people, organizations that support Bella Vista Community Television, and we appreciate their support. We want to remind you that we are a volunteer. You know, it's, as Roxy was saying, they got volunteers by the barrelful down there at the library.
And we have
And
volunteers.
we have
too.
volunteers, so we don't have a barrel full. We could use more. And, come in some Wednesday morning about 9:30, take a look, see what's going on. We'd love to have you. There's all kinds of opportunities. You don't have to be a genius at operating anything.
That's true.
Heck, I've even learned not only how to operate a camera, they've taught me how to run the soundboard. So if I can learn it, you can do it. So this program is taped on Wednesday morning, the 11th. It will show again this afternoon at a little bit after 4, following the afternoon devotional. It'll be on again at 6 tonight, 7 o'clock tomorrow, Thursday, 9 o'clock on Friday, that's a.m., and 11 a.m. on Saturday. And beyond that,
There are lots of times it's on.
yeah. So you have plenty of opportunities to go back and watch some of these things. If you missed a number or an error, it's something, you got a chance to see it again. So
And the schedule is in the Vista too.
it's in the Vista, and it's also on our website.
Yes,
So
right.
we want to remind you that in closing, that we do
We
it
do
all for you.
you.
And I think we'll probably